Good afternoon. This is Akashvani and I'm Anuja Kumar with the midday news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold bilateral talks with US President Joe Biden at White House in Washington, D.C. today to also address joint sitting of US Congress. Prime Minister calls upon G20 countries to create path for increased research collaborations. President Droupadi Murmu presents National Florence Nightingale Awards 2022 and 2023 to nurses for their distinguished services. Fitch Ratings raises India's economic growth forecast to 6.3% for current fiscal year. And in badminton, Indian shuttler HS Prannoy enters men's singles quarterfinals of Taipei Open. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold bilateral talks with US President Joe Biden at the White House in Washington, D.C. today on the second day of his state visit to the United States. The two leaders will discuss greater economic cooperation between both the countries to eliminate hurdles of building a robust supply chain. Mr. Modi will also be given a ceremonial welcome at the White House. After the bilateral talks, Mr. Modi will address a joint sitting of the U.S. Congress at the invitation of congressional leaders, including the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, and Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer. Prime Minister Modi first addressed the U.S. Congress during his visit to the country in 2016. He will be the first Indian Prime Minister to be accorded this honour twice. The day will conclude with a state dinner in honour of Mr. Modi. The dinner will be attended by esteemed guests, including members of the U.S. Congress, diplomats and other celebrities. Last night, President Joe Biden and First Lady of U.S., Jill Biden, hosted Prime Minister Modi for a private dinner at the White House. President Biden, along with the First Lady, received Mr. Modi at the Presidential Palace. During their meeting, Prime Minister Modi presented special gifts to President Biden and the First Lady. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi held separate meetings with the CEOs of leading American companies, including Micron Technology, General Electric, and General Electric Aerospace and Applied Materials. He invited them to participate in manufacturing in India. Prime Minister Modi and First Lady of the U.S. also visited the National Science Foundation at Alexandria in Virginia last evening. They met students from the United States and India who are learning skills to succeed in industries vital to the economies of the two countries. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Modi said, to maintain a growth momentum, India and the U.S. need a pipeline of talent.
भारत और अमेरिका को ग्रोथ का मोमेंटम बनाए रखने के लिए एक पाइपलाइन ऑफ टैलेंट उसकी भी जरूरत है, जहां एक और अमेरिका के पास उच्च कोटि के शिक्षण संस्थान है, एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी, वहीं भारत के पास विश्व की सबसे बड़ी युवा फैक्ट्री है और इसलिए मुझे विश्वास है कि भारत और अमेरिका की साझेदारी सस्टेनेबल और इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ का इंजन साबित होगी.
The Prime Minister said India is working on multiple projects with the National Science Foundation and country's goal is to make this decade a techade.
मैं बहुत खुश हूँ, वाशिंगटन आते ही मुझे इतने यंग और क्रिएटिव माइंड के साथ जुड़ने का मौका मिला है. नेशनल साइंस फाउंडेशन के साथ मिलकर भारत कई प्रोजेक्ट पर काम कर रहा है. इसलिए ये वैल्यू भी विशेष है. हमारी वर्तमान और आने वाली पीढ़ियों को एक बेहतर भविष्य सुनिश्चित करने के लिए ये हम सभी का दायित्व है. इस उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए आवश्यक है एजुकेशन, स्किल, इनोवेशन और भारत में हमने इस दिशा में कई प्रयास किए हैं.
Welcoming Mr. Modi, the First Lady of US said the partnership between India and the United States is deep and expansive as they jointly tackle global challenges.
After years of strengthening ties, the U.S.-India partnership is deep and expansive as we jointly tackle global challenges. Mr. Prime Minister, I know that education is an issue close to your heart, as it is to mine. you work to ensure that all Indians, especially girls, which I love, have the opportunity to pursue an education and gain the skills they need for our modern workforce. And it's so important.
Prime Minister Modi reached Washington, D.C. yesterday. He was accorded a Guard of Honor at the Joint Base Andrews Airport on his arrival. Prime Minister Modi today addressed the 4th G20 Education Ministers meeting in Pune through a video message. The Prime Minister said G20 countries with their respective strengths can play a key role in promoting research and innovation, especially among the global south. Mr. Modi urged all to create a path for increased research collaborations. He expressed confidence that the group will come out with an inclusive, action-oriented and future-ready education agenda.
India would be happy to share this experience and resources, particularly with those in the global south. To make our youth future-ready, we need to continuously skill, reskill, and upskill them. We need to align their competencies with evolving work profiles and practices. In India, we are undertaking skill mapping. Our education, skill, and labor ministries are working in tandem on this initiative.
Mr. Modi said artificial intelligence offers great potential in field of learning, skilling and education.
G20 countries can undertake skill mapping at the global level and find gaps that need to be plugged. Excellencies, digital technology serves as an equalizer and promotes inclusivity. It is a force multiplier in increasing access to education and adapting to future needs. Today, artificial intelligence offers great potential in the field of learning, skilling and education. With opportunities, technology also poses challenges. We have to strike the right balance. The G20 can play an important role in this.
The Prime Minister emphasized the need to adapt and use new e-learning innovatively and said that the objective must be to provide quality education with better governance.
Our objective has to be to provide quality education with better governance. In this, we have to adapt and use new e-learning innovatively. In India, we have taken several initiatives of our own. One such program is the Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds, or SWAYAM. This online platform hosts all courses from class 9 to the postgraduate level. It enables students to learn remotely and focuses on access, equity and quality.
The 3-day G20 Education Ministers meeting under India's presidency began on Tuesday. The 2-day meeting of the G20 Labour Engagement Group began in Patna, Bihar, today. Around 150 delegates from G20 members and 8 guest countries are participating in the meeting. Bihar Governor Rajendra Vishwanath Arlekar inaugurated the function at Ashoka Convention Centre. Speaking at the event, Mr. Arlekar exhorted the delegates to deliberate on labour issues and social security in a holistic manner, integrating it with human rights as well. He said, if we ponder comprehensively on these issues, we will be able to address the grievances of underprivileged classes. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. President Droupadi Murmu today presented the National Florence Nightingale Awards 2022 and 2023 to nurses at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The awards are a mark of recognition for the meritorious services rendered by the nurses and the nursing professionals to the society. It was instituted in 1973 by the Union Health and Family Welfare Ministry. Fitch Ratings has raised India's GDP forecast to 6.3% from 6% for the current fiscal year. This is primarily because of a stronger outturn in the first quarter and near-term momentum. Fitch said that the GDP growth in January to March was higher than expected, and there has been a recovery in manufacturing, a boost from construction, and an increase in farm output. The rating agency has estimated a growth of 6.5% each for 2024-25 and 2025-26 financial years. Labour and Employment Minister Bhupendra Yadav said job opportunities have increased significantly in the last 9 years. He said around 1 crore 25 lakh new job opportunities were created. He added around 30 crore workers have registered in the eShram portal so far. Briefing media in New Delhi about the 9-year achievements of the Ministry of Labour and Employment, Mr. Yadav said the government has taken the step to provide social security net to unorganized workers through the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Man Dhan scheme. India has become a power surplus nation and net exporter of electricity in the last 9 years. The energy shortage in the country has come down from 4.2% in 2014 to around 0.2% now. This was stated by Union Power and New and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh while addressing media in New Delhi today on the achievements of the power sector during the last 9 years.
About 27,000 megawatts of thermal under active construction, about 24,000 megawatts of thermal under surveys, investigations, pre-construction stage before being bid out, 51,000 megawatts of thermal under construction. We have almost about 120,000 megawatts of capacity in the renewables which are either under bid or which are under active construction. We are prepared also for the increasing demand. The great thing is that our demand is increased. It increased by almost 8% in the previous year, this year.
In Uttarakhand, 9 people were killed and 2 others injured after a vehicle fell into a deep gorge near Hokra village of Munsiari in Pithoragarh district today. Administration and police team have reached the spot for relief and rescue. State Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has expressed grief over the incident. Talking to Akashvani News, District Magistrate of Pithoragarh, Reena Joshi said all deceased people were locals of Sama village in Bageshwar district and were going to Hokra temple in Pithoragarh.
एक बोलेरो गाड़ी की गिरने की सूचना मिली थी हम लोगों को मॉर्निंग में। ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि उसमें 11 लोग सवार थे। गाड़ी काफी गहराई पे गिरी है, लगभग वहाँ पे 600-700 मीटर की खाई है, वहाँ पे गिरी है। अभी गाड़ी हम लोगों को नहीं मिल पाई है, लेकिन 4 बॉडी हम लोगों ने रेस्क्यू की है, मतलब रिकवर की है और बाकी लोगों के लिए सर्च अभियान चल रहा है। ये बागेश्वर डिस्ट्रिक्ट के लोग थे, ये होकरा मंदिर जा रहे थे पूजा करने के लिए।
In Assam, there is no respite from flood fury. New areas are inundated in Lower Assam due to breach of river embankments. Official sources said around 120,000 people are affected due to floods in 20 districts. Surging water disrupted road connectivity at several places and has also submerged crops. Lakhimpur, Dibrugarh and Baksa are among the worst affected districts. In China, at least 31 people were killed and several others injured when an explosion ripped through a restaurant in the northwestern city of Yunchuan, the capital of the Ningxia Autonomous Region. State news agency Xinhua said a leak of liquefied petroleum gas caused an explosion during the operation of a barbecue restaurant last evening. In Taipei Open Badminton tournament, Indian shuttler and third seed HS Prannoy powered into the men's singles quarterfinals today after defeating Indonesia's Tommy Sugiarto 21-9, 21-17. However, Parupalli Kashyap lost to Chinese Taipei's Su Li Yang in men's singles pre-quarterfinals. In women's singles, Tanya Hemant lost to top seed Tai Tzu Ying in the round of 16. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold bilateral talks with U.S. President Joe Biden at White House in Washington, D.C. today to also address joint sitting of U.S. Congress. Prime Minister calls upon G20 countries to create path for increased research collaborations. President Droupadi Murmu presents National Florence Nightingale Awards 2022 and 2023 to nurses for their distinguished services. Fitch Ratings raises India's economic growth forecast to 6.3% for current fiscal year. And in badminton, Indian shuttler HS Prannoy enters men's singles quarterfinals of Taipei Open. And with that, we end the midday news.